And tonight, we're back on the stand, back on the mic with another Pt.6 compilation. But before we start, big shout out to all my new subscribers. And if you're new, smash the subscribe button for me, really appreciate it. And now, let's get into it. Nah. Too much cerveza. Oh. Look at the alligator.
Nah, yo, this shit look like I'm in another country. I'm right next to City Field. And
that's in New
like
York.
A third world country out this. Everything is in the way.
Look what's happening.
In the way. This is insane.
Very simple. I have a clone for music. I have a clone for film. I have a clone for my personal life. I have a clone for my family life.
Is she playing around?
So that's how it gets done. And each clone is under contract. Which
They can't put rockets in space. It is blocked by the firmament. The firmament mentioned in Genesis separates the waters above from the waters below. There's a firmament, an impenetrable barrier. And most Christians don't even believe in the firmament. Most of them don't even, and then I come out and say, hey, I know what the firmament is. It's in the shape of a rainbow. In fact, that's how rainbows are formed. How do you get curved light that makes a rainbow? It has to be mirroring something that's curved exactly the same as it, the same angulation.
Like water too, right?
Exactly. If you're a Christian, you're going to have to pick. Do you believe NASA or do you believe the Bible? Because here it is in the Bible. God made the sun and the moon and the stars. 3 different words, 3 different things differentiated on purpose. The Bible does not waste a word. The Bible's not like me. It don't just ramble senselessly and have to be told to shut up. The Bible says everything that needs to be said and not nothing more. It differentiated the sun and the moon and the stars on the first page of the book. What does NASA tell you? The sun is a star, and the stars are the sun. NASA says that the sun are stars, and that they're off in the distance. I'm telling you, NASA's full of shit. The sun don't twinkle. Guess what don't twinkle? The sun. What does NASA teach, though? The sun is stars. They're the same thing. They're just further away. No, the sun and the stars are different. The sun will never twinkle. It is not a star. It's a great light to rule the day. I don't even think it's running off a helium, hydrogen thing. I think it's damn near a supernatural great light.
Are you the secretary? Don't look at her, look at me.
Yes.
Are you the secretary?
I am.
Is it common practice at your department to meet with dark money groups off the books and conceal it from the public?
Senator, thank you for the question. And of course, I can't answer to, if you're referring to our former deputy secretary who's no longer at the department.
Who worked for you?
He worked for the president. He was appointed by the president.
He's your deputy secretary. Are you the secretary of the Department of Interior? I thought that's why you were here. Are you the secretary? Don't look at her, look at me.
Yes.
Are you the secretary?
I am.
Do these people who are sitting here today answering most of your questions, do they work for you?
They work.
Do they report for you? You're not in charge?
They work with me.
They work with you, so you're not in charge of the department. Oh my gosh, I thought you were in charge. I thought that's why you were here.
We work as a team.
Oh, okay, so who's in charge then?
I provide the vision. I provide the overall direction and.
But you're not in charge.
Our mission.
Do you take responsibility for what happens at the Department of the Interior?
Pure BS.
Do you take full responsibility for what happens at the Department of the Interior? Good. Then why are your leadership meeting with dark money groups and concealing it from the public? Why are they doing it off the books? How many times has this happened?
Senator, this is the first I'm hearing of this. My deputy secretary is no longer there, and I can't answer to what he did when he was there.
What did they get out of it, do you suppose? What do you suppose Hans-Jörg Weiss got out of you canceling the leases after they asked you to?
I don't know who
in an off-the-books reading.
I don't know who this individual
Oh, sure. I mean, you don't know. You're not in charge. You're not responsible. We have a corruption problem in this government, Madam Secretary. And frankly, we have a corruption problem in your department.
I see. So that's
so I was tricked into doing this, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. Anyway, and so I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what that would be like.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and there's lots of people in that situation now.
Right.
It's not pretty, and lots of demolished kids.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's a good reason to be the final straw. All right, so let's.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
Mm-hmm. I trust Elon.
And we're making some progress.
The man for the job.
Join the club.
Yeah.
So as you hear Elon Musk talk about puberty blockers, all right, and the woke mind virus, basically, if you don't know what he's talking about his son wants to be a girl, all right? And he's saying he didn't know that, the drugs will do this, all right? So here's the thing. You got to ask yourself a question. Why are they trying to turn boys into girls? Why have they been putting atrazine in our food and water for decades? Atrazine is a drug that in laboratory tests turned frogs gay. And it just didn't turn the frog gay. It turned a male frog, it changed the male frog's genetics, which enabled that male frog not to just be gay, but to also grow female organs so that it could reproduce
insane
as a female.
They make a Canadian version of Fruit Loops that they undoubtedly produce in this country, in the US. They already make it, and they already have the formulation for it here, and they ship it up to Canada. And yet the one that they sell here has red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, blue 1, and BHT. All of those ingredients are not included in their international version of Fruit Loops. Why do they sell Americans the shittier, less safe version here? They've acknowledged that natural food colorings are less bright. Yeah. And when they're less bright, they're less attractive to children. Americans want the brighter cereal. That's what they say. And that's and here's the worst part, Mark. The worst part, in some of the food dyes cases, they're not fully banned, but they require a warning label, similar to the warning label you would have on cigarettes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the warning label says, ingredients in this food product may impair your children's learning ability and may cause behavioral disorders in your children.
Right.
And then personally, both of my children are very affected by Red 40 in particular, where my son will come back from a birthday party and he'll be acting like a lunatic. He'll be jumping off the walls. He won't be able to sit still. And my wife and I will literally say to him, Tyson, what did you eat? And he'll say, oh, I had some Skittles, or oh, I ate some Charms Blow Pops, or oh, I had some Fruit Loops, or whatever it is. And when we remove the food dyes from their diets, it is a noticeable behavioral change.
Huge.
And there are countless parents that I have met that notice the same thing.
There's over 92 papers documenting the role of food colorings on autism, on behavior, on ADD, on mood, it's behavior disorders across the spectrum. It's quite fascinating.
Okay, so
ain't that crazy? And people are still sleeping like babies.
So watch this. Look at Kamala's neck. What is that? Is some alien fins sticking out?
What is that?
She got a rubber mask over the top of her Biden mask that she wears. What the hell is that?
So as you take a look at Kamala's neck, all right, we can't make our necks do this, people. All right, this is not a mask. This is something that she did. All right, she's a reptilian. All right, And she might be one of those reptilians that's called the Frio lizard, all right, that sticks their necks out like that. But she's definitely a reptilian. So is Biden. Look, our government has been hijacked, infiltrated. Our society has been infiltrated. These beings are amongst us, all right? You better wake up. It's not a joke. So look at her teeth. Oftentimes when these reptilians shift, their teeth go jagged because they have double sets of rows. Now here's a picture of her with her normal teeth. See how straight they are? Let's do a comparison so you can see for yourself. Nice set of teeth on the right, jagged on the left. Humans can't do that, people. We can't make our necks bulge out and our teeth change.
UFOs are real and aliens are real, but they're not from outer space. And that's according to the top 2 UFO researchers after decades-long research. So go to Sabrel.com and
so where do they think they're from?
If
they're not from outer space.
They're interdimensional and potentially fallen angels, disguising themselves because they're liars. Of something, like you said, can't be proven or disproven. I'm from this galaxy 300 light years away.
This is kind of what Tucker Carlson thinks. He thinks there's a spiritual element to it, and he thinks they've always been here, and he thinks that this is what's kind of documented in the Bible as like good and evil. And
that's it, exactly. I mean, that's what's going on. I mean, the top 2 UFO researchers said UFOs are real, number 1. Number 2, they're not from outer space. And number 3, they're demonic. And that's what I talk about, where it talks about fallen angels interbreeding.
It's a
with
possibility.
Humans, talked about in Genesis 6, and creating a race called Nephilim, who were men of renown, world leaders.
What's the creepiest glitch in the Matrix you've experienced? My friend Sarah was in a nightclub drunk off her face when she got an overwhelming urge to tell a total stranger that her leg hurts. Edit, it didn't hurt at the time. She just had an urge to say it. It's all a bit strange. She ignored it, but it doesn't stop. So she walks up to this guy and says, I know this is crazy, but I've got a huge urge to tell you that my leg hurts. I know that's crazy again, sorry. He bursts into tears. Turns out his dad had just died, and they made a pact before that if there was an afterlife, he would get a message to him saying a totally random phrase so there could be no mistakes, which they decided on the phrase was, I've hurt my leg. Oh my fucking God. I love that sort of shit, eh?
You guys believe we died once it's over? There's nothing else? The void? Black? Pitch black? You guys tell me. Simple and amazing. Simply amazing. The wings are huge.
In this next video, a grandmother is celebrating her birthday while being surrounded by friends and family, all of whom are singing happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday to you.
As the video plays out, it seems that this footage is nothing more than just a normal video of someone recording their grandma, or at least it seems like that. Because, as you continue to watch, something happens that makes this video the stuff of nightmares. This is what was caught. As everyone collectively sings, a shadow-like figure bolts behind the grandma. In a swift motion, the figure is gone. It rushes over at full speed, but not so fast that we can't discern what this was. As viewers have noted, it kinda looks like a child, or a girl to be exact, who's running at an inhuman speed. Perhaps it was running so fast that no one had noticed it except the camera. Now this video becomes a whole lot creepier when reading the description it came with. As it states, the grandmother in this footage had a daughter who unfortunately passed away many years ago. When she was alive, she would often run around the house while playing with her older sibling. It's for this reason that she believes that this was her spirit. But as always, you be the judge on what was captured. Was a ghost caught on camera, or had something else been caught?
You guys want to hear something terrifying? The Prophecy of the Popes.
Oh boy.
This book in the Vatican archives predicted every single pope from 1143 all the way to our current pope. But the scary thing is, after Pope Francis, the last one, it just says Judgment Day.
Oh gosh.
It literally ends after Pope Francis?
Yes. The creepiest thing, inside St. Paul's Basilica, bordering the whole inner sanctuary, is a picture of every single pope. But what's weird is that there's only a certain amount of markers where you can put a picture. There's one left after Pope Francis. They have always said once that last slot is filled, it will be the end of the world. What he predicted, the time it took to go from the first pope that he wrote about to the halfway mark was 422 years. And he's saying from the middle one to the end, another 422 years will be the end of the world. If you do 422 from the middle pope, which was 1585, that year is 2027.
Dang!
It's even weirder. Pope John the 23rd, he said that the end of the world would happen 2,000 years plus Christ's life. So that adds up to 2027 as well.
Yo, you wanna know something crazy
2027, fam. Mark that date.
about Mario? A lot of people growing up thought he said, "It's me, Mario." They figured he was Italian, but no. What he's actually saying is "Isumi." It's Japanese for super. He's saying "Isumi Mario." He's saying Super Mario.
Bro, you're lying right now.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. This me up the other day too. My whole childhood I had to reverse
It just cracked me
You're
up.
just learning Japanese.
He's saying super in Japanese.
That's how they get back for us for the nukes.
That's crazy, bro.
Wow, that's really a loud aircraft.
It is a jet spraying a trail to make people sick. Now, this happened a year ago, and I came down with the COVID symptoms, and it was considered the worst kind, the Delta kind. And so what's interesting is this just happened now. With the Warner Brothers resigning, with our documentary team ready to go, with the website struck, with interviews being hit, and then you have this, where that jet is going by and it went over our place, then it went outside, then it did next lane, next lane, next lane, next lane. And now all the people around the area are having the same symptoms, which are upper respiratory, red burning eyes, cramping in the body, sore throat, sour stomach, headaches. It's the thing we've been talking about, where it's manufactured and now it's delivered right to your door as if it's Federal Express.
Showing you be doing too much.
A high school student accused of killing a woman after finding out she was trans.
No, a high school student killed a grown man who was trying to molest him, rape him. Get the facts straight. Oh, y'all thought we was just gonna gloss over when they said a high school student accused of killing a woman? No, he wasn't accused of killing a woman. He killed a grown man who was a predator preying on this high schooler.
As soon as one of the things that happens when you come back here is you get your memory wiped, and it's done on purpose. It's a thing to make sure that you don't remember your past life. So, and I would assume that's true. So once you have that as a probable fact, it leads to very dangerous information, because it says right away this can't be a place of learning. This can't be a school. Because the only way you can learn is remember what you've done in the past, what worked and what didn't work, so you can operate in different ways. I say in the book, if I touch stinging nettle and I burn my fingers, I learn that. And next time I pick it, I put some gloves on, no problem. But if I die and come into a new life and then don't remember that, and I have to touch the stinging nettle every single time to find out if it burns or not, that's insanity. Like, that's stupid.
Oh, let me.
So what's the main purpose of the reincarnation if every single time we're coming back, we don't remember shit? Think about it. There's something deeper.
Get this straight. You're saying that the major beverage companies
food companies, all of them, are bribing the scientists, bribing the regulatory agencies to endorse their formulas, their ingredients for food, to say that they're good, say that they're okay. And in fact, those ingredients are meant to addict people to the foods that they're selling.
It's the express purpose. I was shocked as a junior employee to see a list of names of professors from Harvard, from Tufts Nutrition School, from Stanford. And as a junior employee working for the food companies as a consultant, I steered money to those schools. The food industry funds nutrition research in this country 11 times more than the NIH. You are loath to find a nutrition researcher who's not directly paid with a direct consulting agreements, bribes, and their research is predominantly funded
It's
by
all
the food
about
industry.
money.
I can tell you from working for this industry that that's not out of a philanthropic goodwill for unbiased research. The food industry is spending hundreds of millions of dollars on nutrition research to enhance their bottom line. It's to normalize these addictive foods.
Okay, so you say added sugar for 2-year-olds. So these cereals that they might eat that have all the cartoons on the front of them and that sort of thing, you're talking about the same mantra for a drug dealer.
This is a map of San Francisco. There's a lot of plots on that. You may be asking, what is that plotting? Well, this is an app where they plot the human feces that are found on the streets of San Francisco. And you see how almost the whole thing is covered, because that is what has happened in one of the previous greatest cities this country's ever had. Human feces is now a fact of life, except when a communist dictator comes to town. Then they cleaned up the streets. They lined the streets with Chinese flags. They didn't put American flags there. They cleaned everything up. So they're willing to do it for a communist dictator, but they're not willing to do it for their own people.
Next guest, your heart, you all right? Yeah, fine. Good, good. Began life in Germany as a light-skinned blonde girl, making headlines around the world when she had injections to change the color of her skin.
Over the past 2 years, Martina Big has radically altered her appearance in order to become a black woman. And this morning has followed every step of her controversial story.
When I was younger, I admired the curves of Pamela Anderson. My next step is going to pump up my lips also. My eye color has changed. My eyebrow color has changed. And I can feel in myself that I'm changing to a black woman.
What a crazy world
I like
we
the
live
curves
in.
of black women, and I want to get them step by step.
Well, Martina is here now alongside her new husband, Michael. And good morning to both of you. Thank you.
Aggression forcing her to call police, pressing charges. But the video shared on
That's
social
assault.
media is sparking
That's assault.
debate on both sides. Fox 13's Alejandra
Yeah.
Guzman spoke with the barista.
Here we go.
There's a lot that's happened within just the last few moments. I mean, take a look. Seattle police are here speaking with the bikini barista. This is after we're told the man in that video returned to the area. Businesses refuse service, but in the meantime, it's unclear whether he's trespassing. After posting this viral video, though, some have gone as far as blaming the barista and asking what she did to deserve the customer throwing the drinks at her. What she didn't need was this. A mix of shock and fury. Emma's moves are swift. The customer's windshield shatters. The aftermath of what Emma says was a 15-minute heated exchange with a regular customer over the price of a coffee and water.
You don't get to name your own price?
But it's what the customer said she took personally.
It was a threat. It's okay for him to be outraged about the price of his drinks enough to assault me, and he is over 1.5 feet taller than me. But it's not appropriate for me to respond.
You already know how much you're gonna pay for a coffee. The prices they're displayed. So I don't know what's the whole beef right there.
Address today. So you talked a little bit about immigration, and in the past you've talked about how white Australians, Americans, Europeans are being replaced by non-white immigrants in what is often referred to as the Great Replacement Theory. This is the same.
Have I said that whites are being replaced?
Well,
I don't think I said that.
well, it's been mentioned on your show 4,000 times, and
Really, when did I say that?
on your
I said
show,
whites are being replaced?
You have said that before.
Really?
Yeah.
I would challenge you to cite that, because I'm pretty sure I haven't said that. I said
I mean-
native-born Americans are being replaced, including blacks.
Native-born Americans.
Native-born Americans.
And
Americans who, like black Americans, have been African Americans, have been in the United States for, in many cases, their families over 400 years. And their concerns are every bit as real and valid and alive to me as the concerns of white people whose families have been there 400 years. So I've never said that whites are being replaced. Not one time. And you can't
believe
cite
that's
it.
untrue.
So we just met, but when our relationship starts with a lie, it makes it tough to be friends. So
Well, I mean, you've been lying
let's
about
pull
my
that back.
press
I'm
gallery
happy to
colleagues all
explain what I
morning as
do
well,
think.
so,
Well, you actually can't cite it because I didn't say it, and I don't believe it. And I'm telling you that to your face, so why don't you just accept me at face value? My
because it's
concern
not
is that
true.
the people who are born in the country are the main responsibility of its leaders. And as noted earlier, when those leaders shift their concern from the people whose responsibility it is to take care of to people around the world to put their priorities above that of their own citizens, that's immoral. And they are being replaced in my country, people who were born in the United States. And the birth rate tells the whole story. They're not at replacement rate. And so the U.S. population is growing because we're importing people from other countries. And my view is that happy people have children, and a functioning economy allows them to do that. And we don't have that. And so you need to fix the economy and fix the culture and make it so that people who want to have kids can. You don't just go for the quick sugar fix of importing new people. Like, that's my position. And if you think that's racist, that's your problem.
I never called you a racist.
But of course you are suggesting, and
Well, you're
I must say
also
one of the
suggesting that
reasons
white
people don't like people like you in the media is that you never say exactly what you mean. Your slurs are all by implication, and you're about to tell me the great replacement theory is racist or anti-Semitic, whatever. I've said what I've said to you right now like 100 times in public. I hope to, if I live long enough, say it 100 more times. I think it's completely honest and real, not racist or scary. It's factually true. It's not a theory. It's a fact. And the whole point of your question was to be like, you're a scary racist.
Well, I haven't
And
actually
my
finished my
response is, no,
question.
I'm not. Okay, well, how about no more lying in your questions, and then I'll answer it.
Okay. Well, this is the same theory, or as you say, idea, that has inspired the New York Buffalo shooting where 11 black Americans were killed.
On.
2
You know what
white
I mean?
Americans were killed.
Like,
It's also
okay,
inspired...
it's not, first of all...
It's inspired one of the worst Australian guns
How do
of
they
all
get
time
people
to
this
shoot
stupid in the media? I guess it doesn't pay well. Look, I'm sorry. I've lived among people like you for too long, and I don't mean to call you stupid. Maybe you're just pretending to be, but I'm totally against violence. I'm totally against the war in Ukraine, for example, which doubtless you support. And like all dutiful liberals, support more carnage. I don't. I hate mass shootings, actually. Nothing I said, what does it mean to inspire something? My views are not bigoted against any group. They're honest. They're factual. That's not hate. That's reality. And my views derive from my deep concern for Americans, actually. Americans aren't having kids because they can't afford to. And nobody in charge cares. And so that's my position. That doesn't inspire mass shootings. How dare you try to tie me to some lunatic who murdered people? How dare you, actually? And in fact, I mean, do you know what I mean? I'd be like, Hitler wore those shoes. A lot of people are saying that you're like Hitler. Can you explain those shoes? Hitler wore exactly the same shoes, and you're like, I've got nothing to do with Hitler. Well, that's how I feel about your absurd, disingenuous question.
Right, so therefore you support gun control?
What? I thought it couldn't get dumber, but it did. No, I don't support disarming law-abiding people so they can't defend themselves. So the government has a monopoly on violence? I don't think so. First of all, in my country, that's illegal, as you know. But moreover, it should be illegal in every country. A sovereign person has the right to defend himself and his family. Period. And
did you know that all
the perfect example why medias are so corrupted and biased, but Tucker Carlson gave them a good run for the money.
all 3 of Megan Fox's sons are trans, and she's been dressing them as girls since they were like 1.
Oh damn! What are
and
their
they're
last
all
names?
like
Coyote
trans
now?
now.
Oh my god, yeah. And they're all They were
And
born
they're
by.
all boys.
They're
yeah.
all born
Fuckery
boys.
of the year.
Yo, that's some fucked up shit, bro. Damn,
That
that's
makes
fucked
me
up.
feel like
That's
Megan Fox
dark.
is up in there being like, put the tutu on, bitch.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like, was it free will or is she forcing them to be trans?
No, this. I mean,
She
3.
took Transformers way too far.
That's the funniest shit, nigga.
The country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman
we already
president.
have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
No,
You heard that?
Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
Transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay.
finest military in the world. Michael and I.
Is anything scary?
You know, well, when Michelle, man, when my mind.
Crazy.
What makes me special? I'm a queer.
Well, I told her, I said, look, I'm gonna have to call the law on you if you don't leave. And she said, look, I'm gonna stab myself. And when they get here, I'm gonna tell them you did it. You're gonna go to prison. You're gonna lose every sponsor you had. The UFC's gonna cut you. I'm gonna take everything from you. She said, I will take everything from you. So I'm sitting here, I can't call the law. I don't know what to do at this point. And then she starts speaking in tongues because that demon had manifested. I'm no longer talking to a person. I said, in the name of Jesus Christ, I command you to leave. She looks at me and she says, you will have 3 children. They will all die and you will lose every fight for the rest of your. So she cursed my family and she cursed my fighting career right before she left. And I'm not talking like curse words like F you and this. I'm talking, she cursed. And I said, in the name of Jesus Christ, you'll do nothing. Because at that point, that second, I became a Christian because I seen what that name of Jesus Christ, if you just simply speak the name of Jesus, it will cast out demons. Even though I'm this rotten sinner who's hated Jesus his whole life because I didn't know him, the second I turned to Jesus Christ, that demon was casted out and she's gone.
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do?
You can make that shit up.
They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Since they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to
it's lost in the sauce.
So, yeah, I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, cause it's like,
the
government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So, I don't think there's anything confusing there.
Your pronouns are? No, because that would be disrespectful. So my pronouns are Z, Zer, Zer, Zers, and Zerself, or you can just call me Teacher Darren.
What?
Yes.
Isn't it kind of disrespectful to like put stuff in our faces and into our heads that we don't necessarily want to align with or learn?
No, it wouldn't be, because that's the way the world works. So even though it's something that you don't identify as,
not the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even though
not the whole world.
The USA more so, like.
Okay, well, where do you live? In the USA?
You said that's the way the world works. I'm just saying the whole world, like the USA is like 2%.
She's really tripping.
There's so many other continents and
that for sure
that don't want to, instill this into their youth.
Okay, well,
Here we
let's
go.
start by doing it in this classroom with Teacher Darren.
Mrs. Darren.
Teacher Darren. Yes, in the back.
So I'm gonna do my best with the Z-Zer.
So this grandma accidentally commits a massive crime one day. She's a copper scavenger from the country of Georgia, and as she's digging in the ground, she suddenly stumbles across this thick fiber optic cable. So naturally, this grandma, Heist and Shakarian, cuts this cable to see if there's any copper inside. But what she had no idea was that by doing this, she had just accidentally cut off internet services to the entire neighboring country of Armenia. In an instant, just like that, 3.2 million people no longer had access to the internet. As it turns out, that cable that Heist had just cut was the internet cable, because apparently there was only one major cable that the entirety of Armenia's internet ran through. At the time, Heiston was actually completely clueless to the damage that she had just done. It was only when local police tracked her down and arrested her soon later that she finally learned what had happened. And the only thing she had to say in response was, I have no idea what the internet is. Although workers were able to get Armenia's internet back up and running again within just 5 hours, Heiston faced up to 3 years in prison for her unintentional actions. Luckily, however, the Georgian government took her age and ignorance into account and let her go without punishment.
Enjoy your bullying of a position.
Talk to you for a minute?
Yep, just a minute. minute. I know that my neighbor has made some sort of complaint against me. If you look in the notes of your file, you'll see that there have been false complaints made by Mr. Slobomir in the past.
Hey, listen to me. If you damage his property, listen to me.
Please don't speak to me.
If you damage his property,
none of his property has been
can I finish my sentence?
You don't need to speak with me.
If you damage his property, you are going to be arrested, and that's not going to help you. That's not going to help you with your.
Sir,
can I finish my sentence, please?
I haven't damaged.
Okay, then I'll just speak over you, because clearly you're unreasonable and you don't listen.
No, actually.
If you damage his property, you are going to be arrested. So do not damage anything.
I never touched his.
Is that clear?
Sir, it's clear.
Thank you.
Go have a good day. I never
That's a
touched
bully.
his items. Enjoy your bullying of a position.
You can do that.
How many children do you have?
84.
84.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. 70 wife, my.
17 wives.
Yes.
That's a lot of wives.
Yeah.
I have one wife, which is enough.
Yeah,
he can understand you.
You know, different culture.
Maybe.
Megan Fox is a demon.
Who's playing that character? And they were like, oh, Machine Gun Kelly. And I like kind of knew the name, but didn't. So I'm like, Machine Gun Kelly. I like look it up, and I was like, oh, fuck, we're gonna be in so much trouble because he's literally like my exact physical type that I've been manifesting since I was 4. I'm also 4 years older than him, so I think I made him. My thoughts and intentions grew him into the person that he is. Who knows what he would have looked like or been like if it wasn't for me. I guess drank each other's blood might mislead people, or like people are imagining us with like goblets and we're like Game of Thrones drinking each other's blood. It's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes.
You heard that?
It is used for a reason, and it is controlled where it's like, let's shed a few drops of blood and each drink it. He's much more haphazard and hectic and chaotic, where he's willing to just like cut his chest open with broken glass and be like, take my soul, let me bleed on you. It doesn't not happen, let me tell you. Maybe not exactly like that, but a version of that has happened many times.
That's just crazy. They don't even hide their practices anymore. I mean, we're exchanging blood, it's all cool. Megan Fox, come on. Is that Hollywood that demonic? You guys tell me. And also, are we having a gender identity crisis here in America? Don't forget to share and like, and also subscribe. Your support is always appreciated. Stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.